Hello, everybody, and thank you for dropping into this edition of Walking the Ropes. I am Caleb.
And I'm Blake. We have an awesome show for you today. We will be covering last night's SmackDown as well as the least and most favorite bits from the show and the Twitter polls from last night. And we'll also be doing our what do we call it? Predictions for
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber.
I thought you were confused on what pay-per-view was coming up. We've had so many lately that
Yeah. I couldn't think
uh,
of the word prediction for whatever reason.
it happens. But yeah, before we get too far into this, if you are just finding us or if you've been listening for a while, we appreciate all your support, and you can find absolutely everything Walking the Ropes through our link tree, which is in our descriptions and bios everywhere. There are links to our social medias everywhere you can listen to us, and ways to support us, which we no longer, as of this moment, are using Buy Me a Coffee. We were having some issues there, so we have opened a tip page through Stream Elements, which is through our link tree, as well as if you're watching us live on Twitch, the panels down below, you can click on the image and be brought to it from there. But
Yeah.
with all that being said, we will get into our first topics of the night, which is our news. First one that I have, which I think is really neat. Terry Funk. There was a post on Twitter that whoever it was that posted it had spoke to Terry Funk, and he wished Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley luck in their exploding barbed wire death match, and he thinks it'll be a kick in the ass to Vince to wake him up a bit.
I think so.
Which, I mean, we discussed that a little bit on the last podcast on Thursday. Honestly, if they pull it off the way I'm expecting them to, it will probably be one of those things that WWE is going to try to come back and do similar soon.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there's. Well, they seemed to almost do the Undisputed Era turn as a result of the I was going to say Hideo Itami, but it's
Kenta.
Kenta now, and yeah, when he appeared on Dynamite the next Sunday on the pay-per-view, we had NXT with the turn. So it almost seemed like that was their response, as because they were about equivalent in shock value.
Yeah. Like, it's very, very evident, and sad. I mean, the thing is there has been, I do not care what you say. Let's go back to episode 1 of Dynamite, and we can go every fucking week. There has been counter programming both ways. There has been.
Sure.
NXT has announced stuff on their show, like, this will open next week. This is next week's main event and whatnot. And you can very much tell about, halfway through that week before the next Dynamite's like, here's our main event. And sometimes it's pulled out of thin air, and it's just the biggest names they can throw out to try and pull that viewership.
No, it's
and then
true.
You get it the other way, which it's literally happening the March 3rd edition. We've got on AEW, as much as I'm not super intrigued by it, it's still a draw. We've got the likes of Shaq.
That name draws NBA people immediately.
Yeah. We've got, it's the go home show before the pay-per-view and all this stuff. And NXT is now dropping the men's tag title match, the women's tag title match. I would not be surprised one fucking bit if we get a fucking NXT title match on the card just to try to be like, come and watch our show.
It'll be difficult to pull those eyes, but they're going to try. Unless they have some big signings that are ready to appear already. Say like Taya Valkyrie or there's been rumors that with I don't have it in my news, but I read about it. Tony Khan pretty much completely debunked Tessa Blanchard joining AEW. Uh, and
Khan did?
so, yeah,
When?
I'll pull it up quickly. It was on No
I know
DQ.
Shivani did.
Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Maybe it
Yeah,
was Shivani.
Tony Schiavone was asked on the AEW post show that happens on their social medias and that afterwards about Tessa, and he said he highly doubts that it's going to be something that happens.
Yeah. Is that the quote where he said at the end, I would have heard about it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then
Yeah.
it was Shivani.
It was Skivo.
Okay, when I heard that last line, my brain was immediately like, that has to be Khan.
Yeah,
Making a joke of, I'm the lead, I'm the head guy, I would have heard about it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
from my knowledge, it was Shivani.
okay. All right, no problem. I wasn't 100% sure. But like, unless it was something like that where everybody was immediately assuming, okay, well then I guess she'll go to WWE, which I mean, she's probably not going anywhere.
Yeah, not anytime soon. I don't assume.
But like Taya Valkyrie, or even say if they want to do it, pull Abyss out from management up in the upper ranks and have him appear. Like,
they won't though. They've had him for how long now, and they
exactly right. Like, that's just the fan in me that's like, can we please get Abyss to come back?
Oh, I want Abyss too. I wanted Abyss, even just if it's a one time in the Rumble.
Yeah, like I don't care. I don't care if he can't really move the way he did in NXT or TNA. I just want to see Abyss walk out in WWE.
Well, one of my favorite things, the year he signed, and it was just before the Rumble and that, and there was speculation and shit about him being in it, and he wasn't in it, and that there was a thing that went out, I don't know how long after, I don't even remember who it was, but it was a backstage source, and it was like, Vince feels nobody's gonna have any fucking clue who Abyss is. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
He was literally TNA's Kane. Like,
and better at a lot of points.
At a lot of points. He could wrestle a lot better than Glenn Jacobs, honestly.
Like, Abyss was fucking insane, man. But yeah, I just the only issue with like this discussion here is if they want to pull a name out like that, they have to pre-announce it to get the draw.
Yes. Well, yeah,
which
true.
Fucking blows. That fucking kills all of it.
Yeah, because we want that pop value as fans. We like to imagine the AJ Styles one where, yeah, there were rumors he was going to do it.
There was rumors and rumblings. WWE had posted about them possibly coming, but the thing is, it was so many years, AJ had been everywhere, that it was like, will he finally be here? And when it fucking happened, even though there was postings about it, you couldn't believe he was there.
Well, it was like when Edge returned, everybody kind of knew that something was going to happen.
There was rumblings. Edge was at, the head medical facility, blah, 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 blah,
he
blah.
He had gear made, yada, yada, yada.
Shit like that. But...
Like, and he was in ring shape. Like, it looked like he was... When people saw him,
he was beforehand anyways, before he even
was... to keep up with Vikings as well, because that's a very much physique-heavy show.
Well, that's just it. I was going to say, I had seen reports about that, and I'm like, apparently nobody's been keeping up with Edge over the past, 4 or 5 years, because he got into hella good shape when he got that role. And he's been in crazy shape since. But I mean, it doesn't help with the rumors if you haven't kept up with Edge for the past 5 years.
And you start to look up and you're like, wow, he is actually in shape. And you didn't realize he was on Vikings, because he does wear quite a bit of prosthetic on the show.
Yeah.
So he's not very recognizable.
But yeah, I mean, there was the rumblings, but it was one of those things where it's like, unless it happens, I will never believe any of it. And I mean, we watched that Rumble together, and I joked the whole night, and I made the comment. I
actually had to go to the bus by this point, so we were video chatting.
Yeah.
I'm standing at a bus stop at midnight in our city, and
wasn't it fucking heavy ass snow in that too that
Yeah,
night. It was fucking bad.
yeah, but as I got off the bus, the countdown started
Yeah,
for 28. He came out at,
and
right?
I
My
24.
was it? Okay.
Yeah, and I jokingly go, because I had said it a few times that night, every few entrants, I'd go, it's going to be Edge. Or the opposite was, I was like, it's going to be CM Punk, just a joke. And this one I happened to go, it's going to be Edge. And just as it's about to hit 0, you do the freaking, you think you know me. And then the music
Yeah.
fucking hit. And it,
Oh,
it was one of the best moments
I
ever.
can only imagine if there was somebody watching the street cameras at that point in time. They were just watching some dude staring at his phone, freaking out for no reason.
Well, in that city, it's really not that uncommon. So
There has probably been far weirder things on that camera.
think about where we went to college.
Yes, but that would have probably been the more funny one because in their head they're like, "Well, I wasn't expecting that."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. But yeah. So it'll be interesting to see over the next few weeks the kind of back and forth programming we get. But
there's gonna be a lot of, well, they did this, so we're gonna do this, and well, they did this, so we're gonna do this. Like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. What do you got for some news here?
so Heath, formerly Heath Slater, now just Heath,
Yes.
provides an update for his condition, saying his surgery is going to be March 1st. And after that, it's going to be the road to recovery for him. So basically, he's been hunting down um, a doctor that can do all of his surgeries in one go. And he's finally found that, which is really good because for a wrestler, I think doing multiple surgeries in spans of time is just too annoying because the recovery time, they need you to recover after a certain long time before you can go back under anesthesia and
Yeah.
whatnot. Like, this probably cuts his recovery time in half.
Yeah. Well,
So,
that's good. Get all that shit out of the way. I mean, that stuff puts such a hold on your fucking career and that, like, it
mhm.
sucks.
He said he has a hernia on his penile bone, which I think is your like pelvis.
Okay.
Um, and then another one on his right side that he doesn't really know what it's called. And then he has 2 ribs, abdomen, and that's really all he said. And I'm assuming that just means he's got floating ribs.
Yeah.
Um, and there
Wow.
was one other thing quick about that. I now can't remember.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Look,
I got a rib
read.
abdomen, and both sides are a little bit of a mess. High spirits. Oh, the abductor muscle is actually ripped off of the bone.
Huh. Fucking phenomenal. Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
hopefully these surgeries are 100% success, because it's a shame to see somebody with kids, man, not being able to wrestle.
Yeah. I mean, and Impact was ready to use him and
Oh yeah.
and shoot him to the moon there for a little
What's
while.
likely the only reason they wrote Rhino off.
Yeah.
Like, because Rhino has that cup for them to challenge for the tag titles. Rhino is now not on TV, and there hasn't even been mention of him since Moose murdered him. Moose murdered him, or was it Violent by Design?
Violent by Design.
Violent by Design. I just assumed Moose
That
did it
was
because
that was
Moose has
at
been.
that was at Hard to Kill, or
Yeah,
was it
they
was it the
chaired
Impact
him.
right after Hard to Kill? It was somewhere
It
around
was
there.
it was on Hard to Kill because I don't think we've seen Rhino on an actual Impact in a very long time.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say I know it was either Hard to Kill or literally that following Tuesday that it happened.
Yeah. Well,
Um.
whenever they can come back, I just want them to come back at the exact same time, point at whoever the tag champions are, and it's like right now. Like,
I think it was the following because I remember watching it
maybe.
going where like Jake is out and they're taking out Rhino, and like, where the fuck is Tommy Dreamer? Because Tommy Dreamer was the other end of that match. But anyways, it was one of the two.
It was old school rules, that match.
Yeah, and that was not hard to kill.
Rules.
But like I said, I feel like I can remember that following week, or like
maybe
those few days later. Anyways.
Yeah, it was Jake and Tommy trying to get back at Joe and Diener, and Eric was at ringside because Rhino was taken out. And that night they took out Tommy from that equation to just focus on Jake.
Okay.
That's what I remember from it, at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much. There's so much wrestling that it all just fucking.
Okay, I have the match.
It all just kind of blends. It blends together. That I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, so the hard to kill match does just hard cut to Moose. Okay, let me check the.
So it had to be that following.
It had to be that following Impact.
Yeah, because I was gonna say it was Jake and Rhino against two of the three members, whoever it was, because I remember being like, we just basically got this match, and now we're kind of getting it again, and then they took out Rhino.
But the show after Hard to Kill is the one where Swan gives Tommy the title shot.
That wasn't the show right after Hard to Kill.
Oh, okay. I was in the wrong week, I guess.
Because I was gonna say, I think that was like February 2nd.
Okay, hang on. Okay,
You'll get there. You'll get there.
I'm so sorry, everybody listening. Okay, yeah. So it was the week right after Rhino's getting taken out with the chair. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't remember that happening at Hard to Kill, but like I said, so much fucking wrestling that it all just kind of bleeds together.
Yeah. But whenever they do come back, it's gonna be amazing.
Moose was on fucking Raw. Like, I don't know. It just all kind of.
Trying to think about it, there's probably somebody that looks like Moose, or they made a joke about a moose or something.
Actually, there is a reference on this episode of SmackDown that I'm excited to talk about. I don't know if you caught it. Oh,
I might have missed it.
But anyways, we got some more news to get through here. We have previously talked about.
Oh no, I caught it. I think.
Okay. We previously talked about Tyson Dukes, who is a well-known independent wrestler here in Canada. He has done some work in the States, and for other major promotions. He even participated a few years back in the Cruiserweight Classic. He was
fantastic worker.
Yes, he was set to have an AEW debut just like the week after the pandemic shut everything down last year.
So not Brody's debut episode, the show after.
Yeah, it was one of the two. I don't remember which one exactly. But he had posted just really quickly about it on his social media at that point, about like it wasn't even anything specific about what was supposed to happen. It was just, something related to like was going to work for AEW, blah, blah, blah. Well, he had an interview. I just saw this morning. And he actually revealed what the plans were for him in AEW prior to the pandemic. Okay. So at that point on Dynamite and Dark Programming, Shawn Spears was looking for a tag team partner. And Dukes was supposed to come in and work as Spears' tag team partner with Spears and Tully. For those of you who don't know,
so heartbroken.
For those of you who do not know, Tyson Dukes and Shawn Spears have had tag team matches in Canada over the years. Shawn Spears actually was supposed to be at a Smash Wrestling show and was supposed to have a thing with Tyson Dukes, and then Spears got signed, and it was the Saturday was Spears' debut. It was at what was that, Fighter Fest? Yeah.
Yeah, Fighter Fest.
When he swung for the fences on Cody with that chair. So the show he was supposed to be at was actually Friday night, and they replaced him with, I think it was Orange Cassidy.
Ironic.
But yeah, Tyson
Wow.
Dukes and Shawn Spears have worked tag team before, and so apparently that was supposed to be it. And from the way Dukes was talking, it wasn't just a one-off.
It wasn't he was going to be the tag partner that worked. They were going to win. Because they kept doing just random matches with another tag partner. It wouldn't
Trying to
work.
find
They'd
somebody.
lose. But yeah, I am heartbroken. Oh my God.
Like, to think not only Dukes and Spears together, prominent spot too for him. Like, it's not like he was coming in the low card. He was coming in to work with Spears, with which at that point, that segment was a decently run segment every week.
That explains why that segment just died.
Yeah, and to think Spears was with Tully Blanchard, which meant Dukes and Spears, think about their style, think about Tully Blanchard. Like, we lost out on what could have possibly been some of the greatest professional wrestling, not sports entertainment, some of the greatest professional wrestling we could have seen in years because of this pandemic. Out of everything else that we lost because of it, that is probably one of the most heartbreaking things to learn about.
If that happens, does Tully manage FTR?
Oh, jeez.
I don't think he does.
Here's my thing, though. Even when Tully started, I don't think FTR needs him.
I don't think so.
It's worked. It has worked in the overall scheme of things, but I don't think they needed Tully. So,
but how different is their run without Tully?
Not much.
I mean, but that rub with Tully, with the getting in the ring and him being the only one that's like, well, I don't see titles on any of you. That was
so that would have still happened because it was building towards. I mean, with Arn and Tully, that segment would have still happened irregardless.
That's fair. That could have still happened. Yeah,
I would assume. And the thing is Tully might have still worked with them. There's no reason why not.
I guess he could have started a tag team faction.
Like, I mean, the thing is people don't think about it nowadays and realize, like, we sit here and we're like, this manager is with this person or this manager is with this team. Go back to the 80s and 90s. You used to see, the likes of Jimmy Hart or Bobby the Brain Heenan with 6, 7, 8 different dudes. And they were never a faction.
But there were times where they would be shown together kind of talking to their manager.
Yeah.
Which is where they would almost be a group sort of thing because they all had like similar motives at that point.
But it was never a faction in the sense of it. It was always just...
But that's what I was meaning, a tag team faction, as in like he'd have the two tag teams and he can coach them together in the same spot, but not necessarily having Shawn and Tyson be out there with FTR sort of thing.
Like they are not buddies. They're not, they aren't.
We could have them be buddies and have them like talk about matches and strategize matches, but never have Shawn and Tyson come out to support them.
Yeah, like they're never going to be their ringside cheerleaders, nor should FTR be the opposite way around. Hell, the thing is, FTR against Dukes and Spears. Like I said, go back to the 80s and 90s. That's not unheard of. Literally, Heenan would walk both of his guys to the ring, and they'd face off against each other. Heenan would be a neutral party, and then you'd celebrate with the winner, you'd make sure your other guy is okay, and you'd go to the back. Like, that is
And
such a lost art nowadays, and it
I
used to
think the
work.
manager would make them shake hands too, to make sure the group, not necessarily because it's a group, but the tension's not building in
Yeah.
between
Yeah, because
everybody.
you don't want the people you're working with, even if they are the furthest thing from even being aligned together.
Exactly,
You just want to make sure, because I mean, you're coaching both. You don't want any kind of heat or animosity between your guys.
exactly.
Um,
Because you don't wanna have to every week be coaching both guys against each other.
yeah.
Like,
But like, I haven't seen something like that in years, in absolute
and AEW is
years.
definitely the one to do that kind of booking.
Yeah, I'd love to see it brought back, and like I said, like, doesn't have to be a group. We can see them the very odd time all with Tully and Tully giving advice, but I don't ever want to see, them together. I don't want them
Unless the
to
story
be a
calls
group.
for it. Say FTR is getting beat down by Young Bucks and Good Brothers, and Shawn and Tyson had an issue with Good Brothers at one
It
point.
would have to fit so right. Like, they would have to
Yes.
have a direct issue with somebody in the beatdown. If they didn't, and they came
Yeah.
out purely because, like, that
Unless
stuff
it was Tully
does not.
yelling at them and say, "You help these guys right now,"
Yeah, like, it'd
then
have to be something very specific. It could not just be them doing it because Tully's managing them too or whatnot, because
no.
it breaks that whole dynamic, like I said, um
Exactly. Because we don't need
from the
another
80s.
Bullet Club in
No.
AEW.
No. But yeah, like, I
There's
haven't even thought about.
I guess we were gonna have the Nightmare Collective at one point too.
Yeah, we saw that worked out. Um,
That
but
didn't last long.
but yeah, I haven't even thought about that managing style in years, and now that I do, I'm like, that would be so cool to be brought back, because everybody's so used to, if everybody's got the same manager, they're all together, they're all buddies, they're all in a group, and I'm like, it never used to be that way.
Yeah, it was like when WWE tried to put Axel beside Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman, and we were like, one of these things doesn't
No,
belong here.
yeah, exactly. Heyman, like, that'd be like if Lesnar came back right now. Um, keep Heyman with Reigns and keep it
Yeah.
in that exact same sense of, I honestly think Paul Heyman's one of the only people to similarly do this, but like you said, even at the same time, they still end up putting the other person out there as a cheerleader. I'd have no problem seeing Heyman work with Lesnar and then work with Reigns, and those two never ever be a part of each other's stories unless it was for the title or something. Like, it could have just, when Heyman was with Punk, there was no reason when Lesnar came back that they had to turn Heyman on Punk. It led to some okay stuff, but I would have rather Heyman worked with both guys like an 80s Bobby Heenan, where they don't like each other, they're not the best of friends, but Heyman's still working with the both of them. There's a
Yeah.
common respect. Like, it's something that works when it's done right.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know, maybe they just don't want to do it again. I mean, Vince is so with the product nowadays. Anyways, moving on. What else you got for news before I
Um,
get a bunch of heat?
Lars Sullivan is currently training in
Oh,
boxing and has expressed interest in a bare knuckle fighting promotion. Moving on.
yeah, I don't have much to say about that. Kairi Sane, a name that I don't even know if we've mentioned on this podcast yet. Um, she apparently was asked to work the big Stardom event that is coming up. I believe it's March 3rd. Apparently the biggest event in the company's history, from what I've been reading.
It'd
Uh,
be a
they
huge
wanted
return to have.
they wanted her to work. It was supposed to be a high profile singles match, and then worst case scenario, if that didn't play out, they were gonna have her in like a Legends Battle Royal, just to put her on the card and get a pop. But the thing is, she's still under contract with WWE.
What? I thought she got released in the Black Wednesday, Friday,
No.
whatever's.
No,
Oh,
she's still under contract. She went back to Japan to be with her husband and is working as a WWE ambassador for Japan. She is still under contract. And so she asked WWE for permission to do these events, and WWE denied it. Yeah, because she had like seemingly retired when she left. That's the route that they went with it, is that she like retired or whatever. And it was purely because she wanted to go back to Japan and be with her husband and whatnot. And they were using her as a brand ambassador.
Triple H addresses Kairi Sane's departure from WWE July 29th, 2020. A truly unique woman with the ability to capture hearts, minds, and pirate ships. Proud of Kairi Sane's growth as a performer and her time spent with WWE, NXT, and WWE. As noted, Kairi Sane has officially parted ways with World Wrestling Entertainment following a successful run with the company.
She is still under contract working as a brand ambassador. She has been.
That is so weird that everything I had been reported was she had been fully released.
Nope. No, she was never not under contract.
That is there. Where did you find this? Because I don't see a single report on this.
It's all over her social media. She's always posting as brand ambassador.
But like, bids farewell to the WWE universe posted by WWE.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because she's no longer wrestling for them.
That's just so weird that they did it like that.
Yeah. She's a brand ambassador, as well as she was working as a trainer in Japan because they're looking to start up NXT Japan. And so
and probably Russia and Canada and Antarctica.
Yeah, pretty well. Well, when she wanted to go back, they figured it was, there was no reason, to keep her, make her unhappy and shit like that. She wanted to go back, be with her husband, and do whatever.
So they released
her
from her performer's contract, basically.
Yeah, but she's still under contract at WWE as an ambassador.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had only heard that she'd just been straight up released. That's so interesting.
Apparently, she was also part of the Japanese commentary team for Hell in a Cell this past fall. Fun fact for you.
Well, apparently, Sheeta's been doing the Japanese commentary.
Really?
I didn't know that. Yeah, from what I heard, she at least did the first one on YouTube. Because she said, I had so much fun on commentary.
Yeah, okay.
So,
but yeah.
Something I remembered by you saying that.
But yeah, so she is still under contract, and she tried to get permission to work the events, and WWE denied her from working the Stardom events.
Interesting.
So that's...
Because I'm sure Stardom wouldn't have an issue with saying WWE's Kairi Sane.
Oh, but their doors are open if the business is right.
What's the issue with letting one of your most prominent Japanese performers perform on one of the most prominent Japanese promotions?
Yeah, it's not like it's advertisement for you or anything in Japan.
Yeah,
one of the largest professional wrestling markets in the fucking world. Like, people do not realize the Japanese market for pro wrestling is larger than almost anywhere. It's larger than the States. Like, fucking the pro wrestling culture in Japan, like the way it's looked at in North America and whatnot, like growing up as a kid, even still as an adult, when you mention to some people that you're a pro wrestling fan, like, you get jokes made at you and whatnot. In Japan, if you're a pro wrestling fan, pro wrestling is praised. Pro wrestling is a sport. It's one of the
go to corner stores and they're like sports trading cards and stuff like that
Yeah,
instead of like hockey players.
it's one of
Like,
the highest regarded things, one of the highest regarded sports in Japan. If you're a fan, there is not an issue with it in Japan. Like, that's how big that market
yeah,
is. And
BTE
so,
gave a really big look into that.
oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
like them
100%.
selling their gear to corner stores.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. So why wouldn't you let her? She's not on your product, so it's not like it's gonna fuck with a storyline. You
and as
wrote
far
her
as
off from an attack, like
and you literally bid her farewell. Like, it's not like you're saying she's gonna come back. You literally said, "Goodbye, have fun."
like I just
Like,
I don't know. But
that
anyways,
just bothers me.
you got any other news there?
Um, so I have one that's kind of two. So some of the details on the plans for Sammy Guevara's run in Impact have been revealed.
Yeah.
He was gonna win 3 matches at the Impact tapings. One but a quote from Dave Meltzer says, "One person in Impact said the creative wasn't very good and he shouldn't have liked it."
Yeah, apparently they were all tag matches that he was booked for. He wanted a singles match.
Well,
And it
that
was all
makes sense
tags
with
that
what
he was
Tarus
booked
had been
for.
doing.
So
With what we had been hearing, he was going to be what Tarus has been doing, and
yeah,
Tarus has
but
only
the
been
thing
doing
is,
tag stuff.
there was no reason to have Sammy just in tag stuff. I mean,
No,
Sammy.
that's very fair.
I mean,
Um,
especially after him just leaving the inner circle, it doesn't work.
exactly. But then there was Guevara pitching this idea for him
Yeah.
to win the X Division Championship and return to AEW as champion, but he would have been stripped of the title and there would have been a tournament to decide it. But Impact did not like it.
I
Why?
I don't know.
How they wouldn't like something like that? To me, that just sells. Like,
The thing is, I'm not sure how much of this to listen to at this point, especially with Sammy
right.
dispelling the heat and that on his vlog. Like, when I saw that stuff pop up, I was like, I don't know how much of this I want to actually read into and believe, because I mean, the heat
Well, yeah,
of the
it's all
situation
hearsay.
was blown out of proportion. So I'm like, I'm intrigued to know like how much of this is 100% accurate. Because like we say on every show, when we report the dirt sheets here, it is just that we are just reporting the dirt sheets. We do not hear any of this. We do not have any insider at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say there
Um,
may come a time where we get inside information, but that's not these.
no, we report on what is on the dirt sheets, and if you've ever looked at the dirt sheets anytime from the early 2000s and that, you know it's not fucking accurate almost like 75% of the time, unless it's coming from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, there's been so many times where it's like, oh, this person's gonna appear here, and they literally appear in the opposite promotion.
Or the best is something like what's happening right now with this person has heat, but yet there is absolutely no heat on said person, and like the points are dispelled. Well, the dirt sheets were reporting that Ricochet's contract was coming up and he was unhappy with his spot and this and that, and he posted on his Twitter like, I have no clue where any of this came from. I've got like 3 years left on my contract and I'm just waiting for my opportunity. Like, don't believe what you fucking read on the dirt sheets.
I mean, some of that could like the years on his contract's probably true, but for him to come out and say he is unhappy would be a little bit too much. So that could be him hiding that part, but
I mean, he wouldn't be the first one to do it. There's been lots of people who have posted and then, I mean,
yeah,
still
but with
made it
3
into
years left
main
on his
spots.
deal, 3 years left on his deal, he's not done anything on the main roster of note, so I feel like he would be worried not being pushed at all for the next 3 years.
Yeah, well, the thing is you sit and wait for your opportunity. You pitch your spots. You do what you got to do. I
He should
mean,
just join Hurt Business. Should have when he had the opportunity.
would have worked really well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Him
But
and Cedric as a tag team instead of Shelton. Like Shelton could have been there, but
well, there was no reason why. I mean, we leave the pairing of Cedric and Shelton, put
fair.
Lashley as their main eventer, and have
Yeah.
Ricochet as their mid-carder for the US title, and then MVP is there. He wrestles when he needs to, but he's in the manager position.
Yeah. No,
It
exactly.
it writes itself.
Apparently not. Apparently there's some things we miss that we just don't understand with booking.
Well, there's a lot of that apparently on this episode of SmackDown from stuff I've seen. But before we get to that, you got any more news?
Did you hear about WWE's stock award that they gave to their employees?
Wait, what?
Yeah. So after they announced they weren't going to be giving promotions and raises, they gave a a good amount of sorry, a large number of their employees this thing called a stock award, which was valued at $3,000.
uh
That's
okay.
pretty much all. Like that was basically them being like, this is us correcting our wrong. You're not getting more money yearly, but we're going to give you $3,000.
Oh my god.
Pretty much what
I
I understood from it.
so do you know if it was specifically like it was a money given, or were they given 3 grand each worth of stocks?
Um, I can double check on the info where I read it from.
Because if it was 3 grand worth of stocks, I mean, that might not be too bad, because with WWE and NBC working together on the Peacock deal and shit like that, probably around WrestleMania the stocks will go up and they can probably all turn around and sell their stocks for more profit. I mean, it won't be a hell of a lot more. I definitely prefer my raise and bonuses.
Yes.
But
Um, okay. So the only information on this is from Brandon Thurston. These are his two tweets. WWE employees have been given a stock award valued at $3,000. According multiple sources in the company, not every employee received the award, but a large number. The stock units vest next month. So yes, it is stock valued at 3,000. Employees learned
oh
on Friday
fuck.
that salary raises and promotions were put on hold. WWE media relations did not immediately
Oh.
respond to request for comment. Many employees were upset about the freeze on raises and promotions, as noted on my story on Tuesday.
Oh fuck, man. I
Uh,
mean,
so
yeah,
yeah, it seems like they're giving them stock options, which is nice, but
I'd be pissed that I didn't get a raise, but at the same time, I mean, sitting here, I uh I don't know.
because they could probably sell off a couple chunks of that 3,000 stock and make some money right now and then
oh
hold
yeah,
on to a bunch of it.
more than
But
likely. I don't know. I just it's a weird thing cuz I sit here and like yeah, it sucks to be told you're not getting your raise in that, but at the same time, I get a good chuckle out of it, and this is where I may, step on a few toes. I get a chuckle because when it comes to like being under contract with something like WWE, I'm not saying all wrestlers, but let's talk WWE contracted wrestlers in that. You're already making a fair fucking bit of money.
mhm.
Like it's like when like let's even turn it to other sports, football players, hockey players and that. You know, the ones that whine and bitch about their salaries and that. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you
I can think
fucking
of a few hockey players where I'm like, bro.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I couldn't imagine that many zeros in my fucking life.
And you're getting paid that a year to play hockey or
Like,
basketball or football or
yeah, and so
I
like that's
basketball is the worst out of all of them.
oh my god.
Just gonna put that nobody should be paid millions of dollars to play a sport that I would literally offer myself up for free.
Well, we've even talked about the wrestling on
Or
this.
I'd pay to do it even.
Yeah, well, that's like us talking about wrestling, like what I would do to be able to perform. Like, I would gladly go out there and even just be a jobber on fucking WrestleMania for a hot dog and a handshake.
Yep.
Like,
Well,
it,
or if they wanted me to set up the entire ring by myself and all I had to do or all I got to do was come in, set up a ladder and get destroyed off the top of the ladder by X person.
yeah, yeah, like, that's just it. So, it always makes me laugh when I hear stuff about this and about them being pissed. Yeah, they have a livelihood. You know, the cost of living goes up every year. That's why
It really
raises
does.
exist. But I'm also like, a lot of you guys are already making, six figures or more.
Yeah, some of these guys will be, but some of the lower level ones will just be making by.
Well, exactly. But I mean, the thing is, even the lower level contracts, you're still looking at $70,000-$80,000 a year,
Yeah.
which, you live to your expenses. Like, if you're only making $70,000-$80,000 a year, you shouldn't be living this big, luxurious, high life knowing what your income is.
Yeah.
I mean, but I always get a kick out of it because I'm like, I would kill to be in your position doing something like a sport or being a pro wrestler and making money like that. Like, instead of going in and working a retail job or a fast food job or something, I'm like, you're getting to do something that not a lot of people get to do. You're getting a solid paycheck for it. Like, the amount of people that would give to have what you have.
And you're on TV doing it.
You're
Yeah.
on, yeah, you're on,
Now,
national,
obviously, these
international
ones are
TV.
your background player people. Like they're not your on
Well,
TV ones.
that's what I was gonna say. That's why I'm specifically talking like the wrestlers and the sports players. The behind the scenes people, it is a different story. They're not the ones making 6, 7 figures.
Yeah,
They are
which is
making
what these ones are.
exactly. They're making a living wage. So where that is, that's really shitty on their part.
Mhm.
Because that's something you can be compared to, like working, like I said, one of those jobs, a factory job, shit like that, and being told you're not getting a raise. Like, that is shitty. That is
Yeah, because
shitty.
that could mean your vacation. Like this year, nobody might take a vacation, but your vacation
Yeah,
or not,
your
like
theoretical vacation that would normally possibly be there. Yeah.
yeah, you would like say you want to go on a cruise. That raise might be the money you were going to be putting away every month to save
Yeah.
up for your cruise.
Yeah.
Like
Like I get this much of a raise every year, and like, so getting it this year we'll be able to set this much aside in this time and go on this. But
yeah,
guess what?
now I can't.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So,
after a certain amount of time, you're able to assume roughly where your raise slash bonus will be.
oh, exactly.
So
So, but yeah. One of my
that was my
final.
last piece of news. So
Okay. I got two here. They're both really quick, thankfully.
for sure.
Um, Brian Kendrick, sorry, the Brian Kendrick,
The Brian Kendrick.
has supposedly started working as a producer on SmackDown.
Well, hopefully it starts improving.
Yeah, no doubt. I know he was working, I believe it was as a producer in that Backstage for NXT for a while, since he was already at the Capitol Wrestling Center on Wednesdays for the 205 live tapings and that.
I always
Um,
forget he is still that.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, me too. But apparently he started working as a producer for SmackDown.
Good
So
for him.
starting to transition into that life after wrestling position.
Similar to MVP. I guess we could say similar to Rick.
Yeah. Yeah. Um but but yeah, so I found that interesting. And then this, which it's one of those love-hate feelings. Tony Khan announces that the semifinal match between Riho and Thunder Rosa will be airing live free on Bleacher Report.
What's that?
It's just another TNT owned entity.
Okay.
So like BR Live is one of the things they air on and whatnot. It's just a TNT owned entity. But apparently it's going to air for free on Bleacher Report, which I believe is just a it's similar to like the wrestling dirt sheet stuff, but it's like all kinds of sports stuff and that on it. Now granted, Bleacher Report has a very, very large audience. Like millions of people in that. But it's similar to what I've bitched about the last 2 weeks, specifically about this tournament, and the fact that we just saw what Serena Deeb and Riho did on Wednesday, and now you're taking almost that same matchup again, because Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb are really close in their style, the way they perform, just being really good wrestlers, against Riho, and it's gonna be like I'm not saying they're the exact same wrestler. They've got different styles, but if you were to compare them, they are so close on how good they are. You're taking that match and not gonna give it to us on fucking Dynamite.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well,
like, I
let's
can
just
understand.
hope that means Dynamite's booked to hell. Like,
well, that's just it. But I'm like, I can understand the exposure on Bleacher Report. Like, in that sense, it's a great thing. But I'm like, how come? Like, here's something I want to point out: the men's Eliminator tournament was bigger than the women's, and every match was on Dynamite. So, like, can we see, when I say that, can we see the big issue here?
I've never disagreed with the big issue. It's just I don't know how they fix it.
Well, I mean, we cut stuff out that we don't need. We didn't need the 2-3 minutes of Orange Cassidy and Luther and that crap. We didn't.
That could have been relegated to dark.
It could have. We from the looks of it have finished off with the Miro, Kip, Penelope, Cassidy, all that. We've seemingly finished off with that, because there was not even a mention of that during that match, because I figured that's where it was going. It was to progress that, and it didn't. So I'm like, what was the point of the spot on Dynamite for it? Oh, by the way, they have announced qualifier matches for the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Lance Archer and Rey Fenix was announced. Because, Cody, Penta, and Scorp just deserve it.
I can see Penta. Like, I can argue Penta because he made it to the finals in the men's Eliminator tournament. But Scorpio, on the other hand...
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Fan of Scorpio Sky. His work is fantastic, but what has he done to put him there? Penta? Yes, you can argue that. And I mean,
there's a way to argue it, but I would prefer if he had to qualify as well.
I mean, the other issue with Penta, though, is he also made it as far in the tournament as he did because Phoenix got injured.
Well, I thought it was the other way around. Sorry. I thought it was Penta replaced Phoenix because Phoenix got injured.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Penta replaced Phoenix because Phoenix got injured.
Sorry, I meant to say fuck off, my brain's broken.
No, because Phoenix just got his title match in December. Early January, somewhere around.
For whatever reason, I had it flipped in my head, but I guess you could, if they flipped it and said it was Phoenix then in the ladder match, then yes,
Phoenix, I'll give it to. I don't know.
And Cody, obviously, Cody's totally makes sense. 100%. He's a former TNT champion.
Cody's sure, but I'm like, we can't just give it to Penta and Scorp, who technically have done. Well, the other thing to think about is Penta's been off TV for a few weeks, rehabbing an injury reportedly. Why the hell is he getting this shot?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Scorpio is there every week on Dark.
I think so, and he's doing well from what I've seen on the results on the bottom. I think he wins every week.
So,
but
I don't know. Maybe we should have just based it off of standings instead,
guess, yeah.
or
AEW
potentially are Archer and Phoenix tied in their standings? Does Penta have a higher standing? This is all stuff I'm not fully aware of.
Okay, rankings as of Wednesday, February 17th.
They only rank the top 5 though, don't they?
Yeah. Something interesting. Okay, yeah, that is interesting.
What up?
The men's is lumped as 2, so there's the TNT and the world title just in one bracket. There's not a ranking for number 1 contender for the TNT and for the world. It's just there's only the 5.
Yep.
Which is odd. In that ranking, we have Moxley at number 1, Pac at number 2, Cody at number 3, Phoenix at number 4, and Miro at number 5.
Okay.
And even in the tag teams, Penta's not in that, Archer's not in that. Even the I don't know.
So I'm on the website right now, and obviously I don't know if this is up to date as of right now. Lance Archer's got a 1-2 2021 overall, and Phoenix has a 4-2. Penta literally has a 1-0 in a tag team match.
The Bucks haven't wrestled in 2021 as a tag team, according to this.
According to the website?
Yeah, they're 0-0.
Yeah, it's weird, but even though they just had the tag
they were
match.
just in a tag match.
So that's what I mean. I don't know how up to date this is, but the thing is just looking at those standings, comparative to somebody who's already qualified. Scorpio Sky, according to this, is 2-0 in 2021. So
Cody's 3-0 in 2021.
So is that why they got qualified? And if so, Colt Cabana should qualify. Colton Gunn should qualify. Christopher
Luchasaurus
Daniels
should qualify. 4-0.
Austin Young should qualify. That's what I mean. There's so much here. 5. Adam Page. The list goes on and on and on of guys.
Matt Jackson is 2-0, but it's not in singles, tag team, or trios.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was weird.
What? Same with Matt. Or Nick, sorry.
But, I don't get it. I don't understand why those guys qualified. And others. Will Hobbs should be in it. He's 3-0 in singles.
Blade and Butcher, technically, they're 3-0. They're obviously not singles, but, if we're going strictly off of wins,
Awesome Kong's only wrestled 4 matches in AEW.
That makes sense, because yeah, that makes sense. She wasn't there for very long.
I find that hella interesting. But anyways,
Hangman's 3-0, and he's not even mentioned to be in it.
So I don't know. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But I guess if we have no more news, we can finally roll on. We've been live for an hour. We'll roll on to our results now. Not that we'll
I think it's just us being hesitant to even start talking about SmackDown.
Yeah, more than likely. We start on a high note. Don't get me wrong. In my opinion, we started on a pretty good high note. We have
for about 2 minutes.
Yeah. We start off the show with the rated R superstar Edge coming out. Um, point that I want to make. Edge is now leaving Finn out of
Yeah.
the conversation.
Yeah. What, did
Um,
he not like the match?
what Finn? Well, after watching Finn Balor and Pete Dunne, he's probably like, yeah, I don't like my chances. You know
Okay,
what?
you know what?
Fair.
I want Edge to come out and say that, though. I think I'm too old to go against Finn Balor.
Yeah, like I want to win my world title, so
Yeah,
I'm the ultimate opportunist. I'm gonna pick the match I can win, and I'm not sure one-on-one at WrestleMania. I'm not sure I can beat Finn Balor. Which the thing is,
which
that
would
doesn't
likely be his demon
that
as well.
doesn't take away from Edge one bit,
But it puts on to Finn.
but it gives Finn the rub.
And because Edge is probably also being realistic, knowing that Finn would know who Edge is, he would bring his demon to the Rumble
Yeah,
or the main event.
like there is tons of tape on Edge. Edge knows he's not as young as he was. He knows he's not
He's
the same
acknowledged
wrestler
it.
he was, and he's got to be smart. There is nothing wrong with Edge coming out and being like, I watched Finn and Pete go at it, and I don't think on that stage I could get the best of Finn. So
No,
I'm
yeah.
going to take my better chance. And the thing is, to me, there's not a thing wrong with that, because that
No.
means he's being smart about it. You have the opportunity to win a world title. You go for the world title you think you can win.
Exactly. And if people will be like, oh, so does that mean he thinks Roman looks weak compared to Finn?
Yeah.
No, what he's saying is Finn could beat Roman for the Universal Championship.
Well, literally, can we go back to Finn's first week on the main roster? He beat Roman clean.
And then beat Dean or somebody else, and then beat Seth.
At SummerSlam, clean for the title.
Yeah. I had to fucking give it up!
But anyways, I figured I'd mention that he left it out. Maybe because we're coming up on Chamber and he wanted to specify the two matches, but it kind of annoyed me.
Yes.
And then, well, the head of the table, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, along with his special counsel, Paul Heyman, and Jey Uso, make their way to the ring. And
you say they saunter to the ring.
yes, by no means do they rush to that ring. But
Roman is literally just
darn it.
Like, if he could walk to half the beat of his song, he would have.
Yep, 100%.
Like,
but Edge, I absolutely loved this promo. Edge made a really good point. He's like, you did something back last week or whatever that I've never seen you do before. You lost your cool because for you to be the main event of WrestleMania, you need me. You need me to be the main event of WrestleMania. And I sat there and I was like, oh, fuck.
Well, yeah, especially when Edge was like, last week Roman's like, you looked in my eyes and saw fear. He's like, no, you saw somebody playing you like a fiddle.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I even said that when Roman said he saw fear. I was like, I don't know if you were looking at the same guy I was looking at, but
yeah. But Edge just kind of he ripped the Miz apart back 2 weeks ago, and he did a number on Roman in this promo. Made some really good points. And then things got weird. Sami Zayn hits the ring.
Yeah, when his music hit, I was like, why the fuck is he coming out? And then I was like, oh yeah, he's in the chamber. Okay, fine.
Yeah. But he's talking about his conspiracy theories and that. And I'd like to point out, on WWE's social media after last week's SmackDown, we actually did get footage from his camera crew.
Yeah, we did.
The backstage confrontation with Ray.
And according to Simon Miller, he had mentioned he's seen more footage than just that clip as well.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I've only seen that clip,
Yeah.
but I didn't he's like, and if you're following up on the documentary stuff for Sami Zayn on social media, I'm like, "Excuse me?"
Okay. Well, apparently that's something I'll have to look into a bit more. But anyway,
Yeah, he said it in passing and hasn't mentioned it since. So,
but Sami Zayn comes out and talking his conspiracies and how, corporate didn't want him in the match, and that he's gonna win the title and blah blah blah, and fucking Jey Uso just super kicks his goddamn head off. I was
and we're
expect
back to Roman and Edge.
Well, I was
Like,
expecting one of them or both of them to go for the spear, and then Jay just came out of nowhere and just like pop. There goes
yeah,
Sammy.
and
Um,
like Sammy's hat stays in the ring while they're just sitting there talking, which I
Now
think is hilarious.
what ends up happening next? Basically, I actually really liked from this segment.
I just want to know
Roman
what was said.
Roman hands off the microphone and the title to Paul Heyman, puts his hands up and puts them behind his back, and he walks over and he says something to Edge, which obviously was not audible. And I can only assume WWE will post we, intensified the audio and we can hear some of what was said or some shit like that. He says something to Edge, he backs off, and that's like he leaves.
Yeah.
And Edge just kind of stands there, and I'm like, this intrigues me. Because I don't know why, but I'm like, it worked really well. Just kind of leaving everybody there like, what the fuck just happened? Now,
Yeah.
granted, that is something that maybe should have happened next week after Roman obviously retains, because to me that would have been some good build up towards Mania.
Yeah, like
Because
what
that
Roman was saying is like, well, you saw what I did in the chamber. Just imagine what I'm going to do to you.
Yeah, like some
Like,
shit like that. So I'm like, unless it's like whatever he said, it really has to resonate when we find out eventually, or else it didn't make sense of the placement. But the thing is, one way or another, I found it worked really nicely in that moment. Um,
that's fair.
there are very few things that are working for this character that Roman is playing, and I really did like that, especially the like, put my hands behind my back, like this isn't gonna get physical, I'm just telling you, like.
Yeah. The one thing, it's probably just because I'm really not a fan of Roman at all. Um, I just don't like how soft spoken and just boring and monotone he sounds. Like,
Well, the thing is, he's got Paul Heyman there, and if he were to cut a minimal promo like Lesnar does,
yeah,
um, and then let Heyman verbally rip apart people on the mic, it'd work better. But it's the fact that he gets 90% of the promo, and the thing is that character would work 100% if we just let Paul have the mic for the 90% and give Roman the
right.
10%. It would work even better. But it's the fact that Roman in this character is still the lead promo guy, and it doesn't work.
That's just it. Like, I just don't like. I like when heels can be sinister and soft spoken and just like intimidating, but there needs to be intensity as well. And Paul, I thought, was going to bring that to Roman, but it's not. He just gets in your face and is like, I'm going to beat you up.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like when Roman lost it last week, and that last week, 2 weeks ago.
I think it was
2
2 weeks now.
weeks ago. The thing is, if Heyman would have taken most of that promo, and then Reigns take the mic and even did really similar to what he did, just cut it down a little, lose it a little bit, let Heyman take the mic and calm him down and finish the promo. That segment could have been my segment of the night 2 weeks ago,
Yes. Yeah.
because it would have been so good. And I think that's just what needs to happen, because it's going to get Reigns over more. So, but anyways, that's basically the end of that segment, and we move on. Big E comes out, joining on commentary for the next match, and this fucker, oh my god, I love Big E. He's got his setup. He's got it's his couch and his mini fridge, and he's got a fucking
Home pedicure machine.
yeah, the foot spa and a
Yeah.
microwave dinner on his TV
Yeah.
tray. I got an absolute fucking kick out of it. I think the thing that gave me the biggest laugh was him sitting there eating, or well, he didn't visibly eat it on TV, but obviously having the microwave dinner. I'm like, this fucking guy, Big E is my spirit animal.
I think when he started talking to the commentators quickly, because they gave him a wireless headset too, which was really nice. From what I saw, because eventually he stands up and he walks
when
over.
when he walks up to Apollo, the cord is there.
Oh, I didn't
the cord
see
is like right tensed out.
I didn't see the cord at all.
Yeah.
Like, so that's why I assumed it was a wireless one. But yeah, like it's so funny to see him sitting there. And I think as he's talking, he like spoons some peas and is like, oh, just stop talking about Cruz. Like,
Yeah.
I love him.
We get Shinsuke Nakamura versus Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews gets an interview in Gorilla before the match, saying that he respects Big E, but he doesn't like that Big E, told him to go back to catering, and that his ancestors were Nigerian royalty. And that if he would have talked to them that way, he would have lost his tongue. And I get a chuckle because this must be the way they're going. Because now, granted, I don't know any kind of truth behind this. The one thing I do know from watching documentaries and that is like it must be like when he says ancestors, he must be talking hundreds of years ago, because he's stated on many documentaries and that he grew up poor. He grew up like dirt poor, and shit like that. So it'll be interesting to see if they continue this. But
how long into the match did it take for Cole to call Shinsuke Nakamura Shin?
2 moves.
Yep.
I don't like it. I don't like
it.
That.
It pisses me off.
And Shin with the no, Michael, no.
No, it is not hard to say Shinsuke or Nakamura. There are names far longer in the wrestling business.
Far longer. Like, if you can sit there and every time Brock Lesnar hits a move and go, Brock Lesnar with the suit, there's no reason you can't go Shinsuke Nakamura. Or even just
shortly
Shinsuke.
After he says Shin, he goes, and Apollo Crews hits a drop kick. And I'm like, sorry, what did you just say?
Like, you can easily say Shinsuke.
Yeah, that's 2 syllables. Shinsuke.
Like, but Crews tosses Nakamura into Big E at one point, and I'm just like, I'm so tired of Crews and Big E. I agree with Big E a lot. Big E on commentary is like, I have beat this dude so many times. He can go to the back of the line. No,
if he beats Nakamura, no, he's lost to the champion 3 times.
He's fucking done. He's done. He doesn't need to beat him again.
Yeah, well, you say this.
So Nakamura ends up picking up the win over Apollo Crews. And then
in a really weird roll-up. It
was awkward.
He traps his arm in what looked like a submission, and then it's just 1, 2, 3. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. It was interesting.
And I think this was the longest match that didn't include multiple people.
Correct. Yep. But well,
this is the first match.
Was there another singles match on this card?
No.
There was not another singles match on this card.
Okay, this is the second longest match only because like they're not gonna make the main event 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
But after the match, Cruz begins attacking Nakamura, and I found it interesting that Big E just kind of stood there for a minute and didn't like get himself involved. And
yeah.
Apollo Crews grabs the top part of the ring steps and is setting up to take out Nakamura, and Big E gets in the way. And I really enjoyed this, Big E being like, "It's over. Walk away, go to the back. It's done.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to prove yourself. This isn't gonna get you a title shot. Like,
Yeah.
just leave." Um
Yeah, and it looks like Cruz will. Big E goes and tends to Nakamura,
yeah,
make sure he's okay.
Cruz had tossed the stairs
Yeah.
on the ground. Um and then as Big E goes over to check on him, Cruz, and it was messy the way he hit him. I was actually nervous for a second.
It was bad.
That they're like it was gonna end worse than it did because of the way he hit him. He ran
Yeah.
in, the stairs were sideways, he fell over. Like, we're lucky there wasn't a big
Well, he ran
injury.
into Shinsuke as well. Like,
Yeah.
and I think there were also doctors in front of Shinsuke. So Big E not only flies over Shinsuke, but also over two doctors at the very
No,
least.
no, there was no
No,
doctors there at that point.
not at the
No.
time. Okay,
No,
I
the
thought
only
there was,
time we
but
saw doctors, I believe, was when the segment ended with Big
right.
E.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, so he hits Big E with the stairs. He clotheslines Nakamura over the barricade, tosses the stairs in the ring, and
Yeah.
he brings E in the ring, and he goes to slam the stairs on E. The ref stops him, tells him to drop him. Big E rolls out to the outside of the ring, and Cruz goes, "You want me to drop him? Fine." And he walks over and he drops him on the outside. Obviously, we didn't get the camera shot, one of the benefits to the fans not being there yet. And the worst part was, though, is when they did show Big E after, you could see him crawling out partially from under the
Yeah.
ring
Well,
skirt.
you could, before they cut, like when he landed on the ground, they cut away, but not quickly enough to see him literally scurrying under the ring.
Yeah, he scooted himself under. But let's stick with kayfabe for a minute here.
No, yeah, that landed and killed Biggie.
Yeah, so we go to commercial, and when we come back, Big E's being stretchered out. Like, obviously medics are tending to him in that. And I like how Rollins doesn't even wait for him to be backstage. But
Yeah.
in a little bit, I have an issue with this Big E bit, but
Okay.
I'll bring it in a minute. Uh, After this segment, or after a few segments, I guess. But
Yeah.
Rollins comes out, uh, and they give a recap of last week. Talks about legal action he's taken, the letter he's written to management.
And he seems to be hinting that WWE is changing his nickname to The Vision. Because he keeps calling, like, you got to look towards the vision and look into the vision. Like,
Embrace the vision.
yeah, like he really hinted at this. Like,
Um.
and I get it. They're like, "Ooh, well, if people are typing WandaVision, they might accidentally get
Jesus.
us." Like,
Ugh.
no, that's not gonna happen.
But he begins talking about everybody that walked out on him and that, and calls Cesaro the biggest loser of them all, and that Cesaro took their moment and made it about him. And I don't know, the segment just didn't hit for me this week.
Because Rollins is like, he took our moment. I'm like, I'm not with you, dude.
No,
Like,
no, you are not my leader. So,
like I
um,
would have been walking out with you, like with them people. Like,
yeah. And fun
yeah,
fact, at the end of this segment, we are 48 minutes into the show and we've had one match. By the end of this segment, I have it written down.
and there's a good 5 minutes before the next match starts.
Yeah. Um,
We
but
cut
yeah,
to Kevin Owens talking with Edge backstage. And did you notice what shirt Owens was wearing?
It was a Malcolm Bivens shirt, was it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay then.
If you actually pay attention, a lot of the time when they have Owens backstage and he's not prepping for a match, he's got NXT guys and girls gear on, which I really, really like.
I was just shocked to see it was a Bivens shirt because I was like, not the biggest one to back right now, but okay.
Hey man. But yeah, I really liked them just having that little moment and being like, I'd like facing you at Mania. Like, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get into, I have a little bit of an issue with it towards the end, but like,
Oh, okay. Like towards the end of the show?
Yeah.
So I gotta know, with this specific segment or the fact that Edge keeps popping up?
Yeah, the Edge just kind of keeps coming back.
And like, see, I loved it. I loved it because
I don't hate it, but I just don't think it's needed.
Well,
with every single member, you know, like.
Well, the biggest reason why I think it works and I liked it is because we've gone all these years having the thoughts of these dream matches, and basically what they're doing is they're setting up and being like, you got to realize these are possibilities. These are things that, you know, people have wanted for years. This is here now. And also the fact, the other reason it works really well is you've got to remember, Edge is playing on a different level than everybody else. He's scouting.
No, yeah, I do get it, but at the same time, it just, like, we didn't need to see it on the TV every time. Like, we could have had these as little segments on social media and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, it's one of my only saving graces for this show, personally.
Yeah.
And now here's my issue with the Big E segment. They're just getting Big E to the ambulance. Like, I understand Tropicana's big, but if you've got somebody that is that seriously injured, you do not just like, oh yeah, like,
yeah, and they were like rushing him to the ambulance, supposedly.
Like, yeah, you get him out of Gorilla. Like, sure, that field is big, but once again, you got somebody seriously injured. You're going to go as fast as you can to get across what's left of the field, through the back, and to the ambulance. And the fact that we had enough time for that whole Rollins segment, which was, it felt fucking like it took forever.
Yeah.
Like, I got a kick out of it. I'm like, I'd be a little pissed off if it took them like 12 minutes to get me to the fucking ambulance.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd be super annoyed. Like, like, especially if it was actually a serious injury that he needed to be recovered for. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Supposedly, he literally had steel solid steps dropped on him.
Exactly.
He could have a broken back.
Yeah, broken back, severe concussion, like a lot of things.
Yeah.
But, and we get the next match, which I've got a comment here. I've got a comment, like, right into the match. We have the Riot Squad, Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott against Natalya and Tamina. And
you saw where this was going, right?
I literally, my next note is, so when does Billie Kay come out?
Yeah. Like.
But at one point on commentary, Cole, I believe it was, might have been Graves, doesn't matter. They call Natalya the Boat. The self-proclaimed Boat. Best of all time. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? The Boat? I'm like, that is the worst thing I have ever fucking heard.
Like, Goat doesn't sound great, but it's better than Boat. Makes her just sound like a big person. Like, yeah, I think a 100%. Boat, and I immediately think a tugboat. Like,
fucking tugboat. Love tugboat. Love tugboat.
What?
What?
You know what I'm thinking of. Don't you dare.
Oh, come on. You were more of the earthquake of that duo. That's an inside joke. Anyways, but yeah, they called her the Boat, and I was like, yeah. I'm like, you went on social media and tore apart the WWE on Fox Twitter page because they posted a thing for fans and about knowing your worth in that, and then you are the self-proclaimed boat. I'm like, really? Really?
Mhm.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yep. Yeah.
But anyways, we're watching the match. Obviously, I am giving no shit about this match because I know Billie Kay's coming out at one point.
And
And
Tamina's just knocking all of the girls silly in this match. Like the two Riot Squad members just come in and just
Ruby seemed to get really lost a ton in this match. She'd like lock up and then stand there like and then like
yeah.
kind of twist the arm and hit somebody. Like it was like she was forgetting her spots completely.
Yeah, well, and I mean, right at the start, the first move with Tamina, she gets stunned and immediately tags out. And I'm like, that looked really weird.
Yeah.
Like,
But
so I don't know if she did actually get stunned or something, but
I
like,
don't know. But here comes Billie Kay with cat ears and a Tamina shirt on. Um and
can we spend as much time as WWE spent on this?
no, I want to spend as little time as possible.
Okay.
Um
Well, I was meaning on as much time as they spent writing it.
oh, well in that case Tamina pins Ruby Riott, and then Billie Kay gets in the ring to celebrate, and Tamina super kicks Billie, and that's the end of the segment. That's how long it took them to write that.
Probably, yeah.
I want to be at one of these fucking SmackDown creative meetings, just to
Just
be
so I
like,
can be
are
like,
you guys?
yeah.
I honestly
I
think
don't
it's a
care if I
room
get
full of
fired.
monkeys with typewriters at this
Yeah.
point.
I would step up and I'd be like, all right, you can fire me, but what the fuck is going on?
Like this is a pile of shit on fire.
Like, I've been a wrestling fan for this long. I can tell you that will not go over well.
Well, the worst part is you
Like,
can tell a lot of these writers, sadly, must not have been wrestling fans, and the worst part is Vince gets the final say. So even if these guys do put out something great, if Vince just doesn't like it, it doesn't make the show.
yeah, because it's the Vince show.
But anyways, we get a recap of Sasha Banks at the Daytona 500. Which yeah, that was quite the race. I watched a good portion of it.
Yeah. The one thing that I found interesting about the next segment is Corbin approaches Edge here, not the other way around as it was with and will be the other ones.
Yeah,
So that was something I liked.
I love this.
But
Corbin comes in and he's like, I don't know if you know this, but this is my kingdom. And next time I come up to you wearing my $10,000 suit and what was it, like $37,000 watch and that
timepiece, I think he
timepiece, like you bow down. And Edge is like, you want to see my timepiece? And it's his fucking phone, and he's got like the flip cover on it, and it's the time. It's 8 whatever, and fucking
it's got a camera too.
Yeah,
Jeez.
it's got a camera. It does email, text. Like, it's amazing. I'm like fucking Edge with the dad joke.
So like it was so perfect. Like,
and by this point we're an hour in, by the way.
Yeah. I don't classify as that last match as a match. We've had one match.
Oh, it was a match. It was a match. Technically speaking, we've had 2 matches. And now we have the best segment of the night. It's Ding Dong Hello with Bayley. Oh my god, I just vomited in my mouth.
Sorry, I can't do this. Like, that's just it. When I audibly sighed when Cole announced that this was coming back tonight, I was just like, oh, you're kidding me.
So let's try and spend as little time on this as possible. I've literally got the important notes here. If I miss something that you've got that you want to mention, please tell me. I don't want to fucking stay on this too long. So Bayley comes out, introduces Shayna and Nia. They're already behind the door. They try to walk through the door together like 3-4 times and they can't. They finally get through. I don't even know what was happening. And then
Bayley thanks them for taking the titles off of her.
Yeah, because she got rid of Sasha and blah blah blah.
Okay.
And then here's fucking Reginald. what the fuck is Reginald doing here? And he's standing
And he
up to
doesn't
Sasha.
have music too. Like, that's the best thing. He'll come out and he just starts speaking in this shit French accent.
Bailey's like, use the door. Use the door. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Basically just, starts praising Sasha. Just, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She could beat you all. And
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah,
and if
blah.
Sasha and her new sidekick Bianca Belair would fight you guys, you guys would lose the titles.
Would you like to know the note I have written right beside this?
What?
Don't you fucking dare, WWE.
Oh, I've got a note later. So anyways, now Sasha comes out, tells Reginald not to speak for her, and all of a sudden here's fucking Bianca.
Well, because it's the WWE rule. Speak their name and they shall appear.
Yeah, fucking Beetlejuice, god damn it. And anyways, the overall outcome of this, Reggie says to, like, Bianca and Sasha, like, we're on the same team here. And, like, we should take on Nia, Shayna, and Bayley. And go figure, we get the match. Like, what the fuck?
Adam Pearce approved this match. Thanks,
Well,
thanks,
yeah,
Cole. Thanks for telling us.
Fucking Adam Pearce backstage fucking hammered off his ass because the show's so terrible.
He's like, they want another... Okay, go ahead.
we only booked like 20 minutes of the show, and it was the opening segment.
We got Edge. We're good.
The show just come together.
Yeah.
Which,
so can we just not talk about this match and just say who won?
Well, yeah. Like we said, it's Reginald, Sasha Banks, and Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Bayley.
The tag team champions, remember.
Yep. And not a lot happens. Reggie gets tagged in. Nia tosses him around a little bit. And then he does a really neat, like, spin, which obviously if it was on somebody else and they were to actually take the bump like a standing crossbody, it would have been badass. But Nia catches him, turns around. Bianca and Sasha literally just drop kick. And they drop kick Reggie in the back. They don't even hit Nia.
Well, it's the momentum. So, like, it's that double forced, right? So they hit Reggie, and Reggie then passes his momentum on to Jax, and it just kills
The
Jax
thing is,
internally.
if they would have done that and he could have rolled her right away, it would have made it feel better. But they landed, and then he has to hook her leg. The ref counts a 3, and that's the fucking segment. And I'm like, hold on. One half of the tag team champions, Nia Jax, just got pinned off of a fucking dropkick.
2.
Seriously? Does it make a fucking difference at this point?
Well, no, because, I mean, fuck it. WWE literally later announces that they are defending the tag titles against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. And I swear to fucking God.
So I have a question. Not that I'm happy with it, but Lana and Naomi earned a shot at those titles. Where's their match? Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez already have their match made. Why don't we just wait till after that? Like, what the actual... Have they realized they haven't done anything with those titles for a year now? And they're like, oh shit, let's fit like 4 matches in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yes. No, that is exact. They forgot the belts existed because they kept giving them to the women's champions. And guess what? Now Sasha and Bianca are going to defend the fucking titles.
Oh, but Sasha and Bianca can win it. They can win it. And we know they're fighting each other at Mania. But
because Bianca literally almost announced that, but Reggie keeps cutting her off.
But no. Here's the booking. Sasha and Bianca will win it. They'll go to fight Raquel and Dakota Kai. Charlotte and Asuka will interrupt the match, and at Fastlane we get a 3-way tag match for the titles.
I'm only okay with it if they change the name of the pay-per-view back to Great Balls of Fire.
What do you mean back to?
Well, or put it as whatever. Because the only way this shit show is any better is if they have that tagline of a penis right above it.
Great Balls of Fire. Oh my god.
Who
I remember when they did that. I remember when they announced that show. That was the fucking July show. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Great balls of fire. I was like, excuse me?
Okay.
And they just it was literally a penis. It was nothing else. It was, the logo was a penis.
You remember when they did Roadblock in, like, Kingston, Ontario? It was Dean Ambrose versus Triple H for the world title, like, 2 weeks before Mania. I tried to get tickets to that show. Like, it's one of the only, like, house shows type thing. Because, like, I mean, I don't want to call it a house show, but, like, because, like, 3 matches were on the network. But, like, it's the only house show in Canada to sell out in, like, a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought about that, talking about pay-per-views we haven't seen in ages. Because Great Balls of Fire was, what, 2018? 2017?
Yeah.
2018?
They're never doing it again.
Oh, they fucking
It was
better.
actually, it was around the time when Finn won the title and had to give it up.
It was the following summer because Samoa Joe
Yeah.
was in the title match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Against Owens, right?
Was it Great Balls of Fire that it was the Fatal 4-Way? Or was it SummerSlam? I know either the Fatal 4-Way happened and then a match at SummerSlam happened, or the match,
or the other way around,
or they set up and had something at. Joe was in the world title match at Great Balls of Fire.
Yes,
I know
he was.
that. I just don't remember if it was the
yeah.
Fatal 4-Way with, like, because I think it was, what, Reigns, Rollins, Lesnar, and Joe or some shit. Great Balls of
Owens
Fire.
would have been the champion, though.
No, Lesnar.
I was hopeful that his reign was longer. I guess not.
It was Lesnar and Joe. And I didn't actually even get the year. Hold on. 2017. Lesnar and Joe for the Universal Championship. Heath Slater and Kurt Hawkins had a match right before the main event. They were the co-main event. The pre-show was Neville against Akira Tozawa. Oh, we had the Iron Man match for the Raw Tag Team titles, Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Hardys. We had The Miz with Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, and Maurice defeating Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship.
Stop it, you're hurting me.
Why didn't we ever get another Great Balls of Fire?
It was, besides the worst WWE show ever, that was the
Battleground
worst.
was next.
They
Battleground
really
was next. And that was the Punjabi prison match.
That was when they were doing the promotional one, so it was only Raw for Great Balls of Fire, only SmackDown for...
Yep. Yepper. And
back when WWE tried to put 2 pay-per-views in every month.
So what was the SummerSlam that year, real quick? So the SummerSlam was Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and Samoa Joe for the Universal Championship. And if Lesnar had lost the match, he would have been forced to leave the WWE.
If only.
So there's a fun fact for you.
Oh yeah, we're talking about SmackDown.
I was talking about better shows, Great Balls of Fire. Anyways, where the fuck were we? Cesaro has a interview. Edge pops in, kind of the same deal as before, you know.
That's just all that bothered me, is it was basically the exact same thing as the other ones, where he's like, "Oh well, see you at Mania."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think where I'm getting it is just the fact of, like I said, we've had these dream matches, and Edge coming back, he just had a program with Orton, and like there was nothing else. So now seeing Edge pop around and getting you thinking like, oh fuck, we could have Edge and Cesaro. And then the one that happens after this next match, question mark.
Yes, it is.
Well, no, I said question mark as to whether or not we even call this a fucking match, because it lasted 35 seconds.
There technically was 2 bells, so.
Coming from the motherfucker who didn't want to qualify the women's match earlier as a match.
That's how good I feel about everything on this show. I will contradict myself because SmackDown can do that too.
Well, speaking of the next match, we set up. It's Rey and Dominic Mysterio against Alpha Academy, Otis and Chad Gable. Rude and Ziggler, who I once again forgot were tag champs this week. We're on commentary. And the match,
probably because like this is a very crucial match for their tag titles.
I'm gonna ignore that. The match literally is like 35 seconds. I don't know. Did Gable even tag himself in and then Otis just stayed in the ring, or did Gable just get in the ring? Or...
Gable got in the ring and he was the one that got counted out.
Because the thing is, the commentators said Gable tagged in and Otis didn't get out.
I didn't see Gable tag in at all.
Neither did
Otis
I.
Was slamming
but
Mr. Fucking Dominic and Ray in the ring.
So that's where I got confused, because Gable comes in, they do the count in that, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then the commentators said Chad Gable tagged in and Otis did not get out before the count. And I'm like, where was the tag? Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, and this seems to be a heel turn now for Otis and Gable, because Otis just kills Ray, splashes in, big splash off the ropes.
It's really cool. Like, I like the idea where they're going with it.
Well, I mean, Otis is a big guy. You have Gable leading him. I just don't like how they did it.
Yeah, it was really awkward.
And I said to you, like, it's not that I didn't like that they squashed Ray. Ray is an over babyface. He has been for years. He's a legend. So it works there. It's just the placement on the card and the fact that we started the match. They just blatantly decided to say, fuck this match. And they attacked him and the segment was done. I'm like, there was nothing. There was nothing to make me go, oh shit, they're turning heel.
Well, yeah, and they kept turning to Dolph and Rude, and they were just like shocked at what was going on.
Oh my god!
Like, but at the same time,
it's a fucking slobber knocker.
Why would they even be out there?
Like you said, it's crucial to their tag championships.
Apparently.
Anyways. We get Daniel Bryan backstage, and this is a really neat one. Being like never thought they'd both be standing there able to perform again. There was actually a post on Twitter, the photo of them standing together, and the caption was in quotes, retirement. And I was like, it's a really good fucking point. And Edge kind of was like, you helped me out, when you came back, and it made me, think. Yeah,
this one was the best one of them all.
Yeah.
But I feel like on this SmackDown in particular, we could have done with just this one.
I liked the Corbin one. The Corbin one was funny. It made Corbin look like an idiot.
But the Corbin was approaching Edge. I was talking about the Edge approaching the other people.
It's fair. But so we come back from commercial. Ray's getting helped out by Dom and the referee in that. And we have Bryan and Cesaro talking backstage. Kevin Owens comes in and is like, hey, can we talk strategy? And they're like, oh, we just were. And there's obviously a lot of hostility in that. And Bryan and Cesaro start listing off everybody Owens has betrayed. Like the fact that he's betrayed Sami 5 times. Stuff like that. And they make a really good reference here. Bryan goes, I feel like I'm forgetting a big name. I should have made a list. And I sat there for a second, and it took me a second. I'm sitting there like, son of a bitch, I totally forgot that was one of Jericho's gimmicks. I totally forgot Jericho and Owens, even though it
Yeah.
was one of the biggest things that year, and it's probably one of the best heel turns ever, in my opinion, because it worked
Yes.
so good. I totally blanked out in that moment, and then I was like, son of a bitch, you sly bastards.
Yeah, yeah, when he said that, I had the exact same reaction. I was like, "A list," and then my brain went, "Why did that take you so long? That's Jericho."
I was
Like,
so mad at myself. I'm like, I should have had that in like half a second. And it took me like 2-3 seconds to be like, Chris
well,
Jericho.
I literally ran through the names he said. I was like, "Okay, yeah, what's the one missing? Jericho." Like,
Wow. But that was cool. And then we have Carmella backstage. Reginald comes in with the wine. Carmella's like, what took you so long? He's like, had to be perfect temperature and had to, breathe. And Carmella's like,
I can smell the bullshit from a mile away.
yeah, like I saw you. Like, but we're good. No worries. Like you'll do the right thing. And then Carmella takes a drink of the wine, spits it out, tosses it in Reggie's face, and when she shoves the glass on him, it snaps.
I thought so.
It snapped, and uh I don't know. I don't know what this
Then
segment was about.
Then
Uh
WWE announces the match we fucking told them not to fucking announce.
yeah, Chamber, Baszler, Jax against Bel-Air and Banks for the women's tag titles, because that's the match we needed.
Watch this
And
match show.
yeah. Yeah, and then we get the main event, Sami Zayn, King Corbin, and Jey Uso against Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, and Kevin Owens. Edge comes out before the face team comes out, just before commercial. And the match worked really well. The heels weren't playing nice with each other. Cesaro and Bryan weren't really playing nice with Owens. At one point on
Can't we all just get
commentary,
along?
Edge is talking about scouting and how he's been across the shows and he's, paying close attention to each possibility in that, which is why I still, like, even though the segments were kind of and whatnot, I still think they still work to an extent tonight. And then he goes, I'd be a moron for not doing that. And I chuckled because I'm like, well, the other Royal Rumble winner isn't doing that. So, you just called
She's
Bianca
been on Raw.
moronic. Yes. Um, I, you know what? Whatever. I don't even know. Oh my god. I don't even know what to say about that.
If that's literally it, just it. Edge is so fucking right. Like,
But yeah, I mean, you just won the Royal Rumble. You want to scout, and she hasn't. But it was the fact of him being like, I'd be a moron if I didn't. I just won the Royal Rumble, and I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
shots fucking fired.
Yeah, but Daniel Bryan and Cesaro just tagging each other, ignoring Owens. And when we come back from from commercial, Paul Heyman's on commentary now.
So
Which,
you weren't the only one that was surprised by that.
well, I don't know who it was who was throwing over the table, and all of a sudden all I see is the Universal title sitting there. And I'm like, did they plant the title for Roman to come out? And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden the camera pans a little bit. I'm like, is that fucking Paul Heyman? And they're like, Paul's on commentary now. I'm like, what the fuck? Which, granted,
And so I hope that what happened was Paul just comes out to Brock Lesnar's music because that's Paul's music technically. Like,
but the thing is, the banter between Edge and Heyman on commentary was good.
it was.
Because, I mean,
why
you've got
didn't we
two
get
great...
it from the start?
Yeah, you've got two great talkers, but it's just the fact that it was on commentary instead of... Yeah.
Well, and I'm not even meaning... I was just meaning from the start of this match.
That's true. That's very true as well. But I don't even have much more for notes on this match other than Daniel Bryan lock Sami in the yes lock after, I don't remember what it was. It was an avalanche something.
So I want to call it a suplex, but it's that suplex where it's like he's got him. It's really hard to describe. It's
like similar to like a gut wrench power bomb minus the power
similar.
bomb,
Yeah,
but it was off the middle rope, top rope. Like it was an avalanche gut wrench lift or something.
Face suplex thing. Whatever.
It was a really nice
Watch it to find
transition,
out.
though. It was a
Yes.
really nice transition into the S-Lock. Sami Zayn taps. Owens was never tagged. And then we just start getting a move fest.
I have exactly who did it. I wasn't anging. That was the noise of the. So Simon Miller runs this thing on his show. Noise. It's the tag team buzzer beater thing. It's when this noise happens, everybody comes in and hits their move.
So my move fest, yeah.
Yeah. So he does this thing where it's like, and all of a sudden, the thing goes off. And I have move for move.
Go ahead.
Corbin hits End of Days on Bryan. Kevin hits Stunner on Corbin. Zayn hits Exploder on Kevin. Cesaro hits uppercuts on Zayn. Jay super kicks Kevin. Edge spears Jay. Reigns spears Edge.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, you knew where it was leading up to. I knew Edge was coming in and spearing, and I knew Roman was going to come in and take out Edge as soon as the move fest started happening.
Yeah.
Which, granted, it wasn't...
Where the fuck did Reigns come from, though?
He was hiding under the announce table. He was sucking Paul's, Never mind. Gonna leave that there.
His little walrus.
His little walrus. I don't know. This is why we mark this explicit and whatnot.
Yeah.
I could not fucking believe like it went the exact way it did. Which at the end with Roman standing tall, Edge on the ground, like part of me wanted to say it worked, but the only reason why I didn't like it was because it was predictable.
Yeah. Especially once Paul was out on commentary, it's like, oh, where is Roman?
Oh, here comes Roman.
Well, especially because why does Paul need to carry around the title?
Because it's a special counsel. He's linked with Roman, so it just reminds people. That I'm literally just going off of what would be the general idea behind it.
Right. But he was very specific in saying his role as special counsel is not the same as what it was for Brock Lesnar. He was very adamant that they are not the same role.
Yeah, but one role, just because he carries the title for both doesn't mean necessarily. You want to move on to ratings?
I guess, yeah.
I'm so tired of this show.
I thought you were actually trying to argue it, and I was like, I don't think there's a way to argue that.
I was trying a little bit. I knew there was no like winning side of the argument. But yeah, rating. I'll start this one off. SmackDown. I gave a 1.75. I did not enjoy the show.
I gave it a 2.25 solely based on the fact I am interested in what the Otis stuff is going to be. I want to know where that heel turn goes, but they should have done it better. I would have given it a 2.5 if they did it better, but it was just not
the
good.
Show was rotten in my opinion. Your poll results, we post polls after these shows on our Twitter at Walking the Ropes. 80% thought it was a great show, 20% thought it was a waste of time, nobody's sitting on the fence.
We just don't like SmackDown.
Am I missing something? Like, I enjoyed SmackDown over Raw for years, so where am I missing? What am I missing? Tell me. Let me know what
I know
missing.
exactly what's different now about this SmackDown versus the Raw that is going on right now.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
AJ.
AJ is on Raw now.
Son of a bitch.
And he was on SmackDown, and that was a good show.
Yeah, because even if you were to leave Roman on SmackDown, holy fuck.
AJ makes it a better show whether he is actually prominent on the card or not.
Oh my god. I never thought of that.
Because whenever he's bounced from Raw to SmackDown that show became the better one.
Holy fuck. Well, it's just a testament to AJ Styles.
It really is.
Wow.
Put
Wow.
him on. I would be fine if they just said all of a sudden Styles was the only free agent and he was the one that appeared on all the shows.
Sure. I mean, he
Like,
deserves it.
because he is one of those ones like Kenny Omega I want to see wrestle every fucking night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Oh,
want to
I
see
agree
him wrestle
100%.
Kenny Omega every fucking night.
Yeah. Yeah. I just watched the AJ Styles 365 from 2 years ago. I had never watched it before. I watched it last night because, not having, or it was, I shouldn't say last night, yesterday afternoon. I had nothing going on. I watched it. And it just, yeah, I'm a big fan of AJ's. His
Yeah.
work is amazing. Knowing
Well,
that his
yeah.
match against Finn at TLC, if you remember that was on less than 24-hour notice. He was wrestling in Chile, and he got the call like, "Hey, we need you to hop on a plane and fight Finn at TLC." And he was like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, see you there." I'm like,
Who
what
got
the fuck?
replaced for that? Because it was
Bray Wyatt.
gonna be
It was
Bray.
gonna be Sister Abigail against the Demon.
I'm so glad we didn't fucking get that.
Yeah. I'm still intrigued to know where it would have went, though. I'm glad we got the match we did. I wouldn't trade it because Finn and AJ was dream match. It was amazing.
Phenomenal, to say the least.
Yeah,
Like,
but what would we have gotten if Bray hadn't gotten sick?
if we were to do this match now, it would be fine because it would be a cinematic match. But that Sister Abigail was horrible.
I want to know what Bray was gonna look like because of like the promo shots and that.
I
Like
want to know
there's
from
a
like
lot
the
of
top down.
yeah, there's a lot of interest that I still have wanting to know where
The
it was
voice
going.
was so weird and just everything about it was bad.
Anyways, speaking about bad, back to SmackDown. What was your match of the night?
I mean, I gave it to the main event because
Same.
it was the longest match.
It was
Like,
the best match on the card, even though, like, I don't want to say it was a bad match, but
it wasn't great.
it wasn't a great match.
There
But
were
it was
really only 3 people that shined in it.
yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Do you have anything else to add?
no.
Segment of the night.
I mean, just like I said, because I enjoy where this might be going, it's the Otis heel turn. Like,
Okay.
assuming this actually goes somewhere better, I'm gonna give it my segment of the night. But like, on the off chance it doesn't, like, I don't know, I guess I'll give it to like Paulo versus Shinsuke.
Come on, ding dong hello. Just say it.
Oh,
Just
I'll
say
talk about
ding
that in a
dong
second.
hello. Just say
I'll talk
ding
about that
dong
in a
hello
second.
is your segment of the night.
You can.
No, my segment of the night is the opening segment. I thought, even with my gripes of like wanting Paul on the mic more and shit like that, I thought it worked. I liked Edge ripping him apart. I liked Roman going up and just
Yeah.
that mysteriousness of like what was said. I enjoyed it, and sure. Performer of the night.
The 3 people who were good in the main event, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan. Kevin Owens didn't do anything, but that's better than what Baron Corbin, Zayn, and fucking Jay did. Like,
That's fair. That's fair. I gave it to Edge, just ripping apart Roman at the beginning of the night. Like I said, I did enjoy getting the like, oh, like these are dream matches, just bits
yeah.
and that, and then him on commentary for the main event really helped build my interest. So I'll give it to Edge.
Can we talk
Yeah.
about the best segment now?
The best segment of SmackDown, Ding
No,
Dong
of walking the ropes.
Oh, what? Our worst of the night? My favorite segment of the night?
Exactly.
So what was your worst of the night?
Ding dong, hello.
How?
Why the
That
fuck?
was the segment of the night. Yeah, it was fucking bad.
It was like 3 Stooges on acid. Like,
that's a fair comparison. Holy fuck.
like,
Oh my god. Yeah. And I also gave it myself, I doubled up along with Ding Dong Hello. I gave it to just how they handled the heel turn of Otis. Like I said, for something like that,
Yes, it wasn't handled great.
it's an afterthought, which sucks because he took out Mysterio, and Otis being a heel, I think could
Yeah,
work well in the mid card. He'll never be a main event heel. Sorry, he won't be.
he
Um,
should still be Mr. Money in the fucking Bank.
um,
I'm never gonna get over that. They literally had the opportunity to have the first tag team cash in on the titles,
yeah,
and they
because
fucked it.
the Money in the Bank is not specifically for a world title. It's a title of your choosing.
It literally says you can cash in for any title of your choosing. They obviously want the world title because you get a world title. Look at Dolph Ziggler. He probably only has his job because he's had the Money in the Bank and is thus a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, but I gave it to that too because I was just like, it's gonna be it is right now to me, and it will be in the future a complete afterthought.
I gave it to my best because I'm hopeful that it won't be an afterthought in the
Otis
future.
turning heel is great. Like, that's my thing. I'm not giving it to the fact that Otis turned heel. I'm giving it to the fact that they've had it being a match. The match was thrown away. He kind of destroyed him, and the segment ended with no big like, it was just Otis kind of took out Ray, and that was
Yeah,
it.
even the commentators weren't saying anything about it.
Yeah, the commentators are like, oh wow, okay. I'm like, fuck sakes, people. I'm like, Otis just
Yeah.
turned heel, and we're not even being like,
Well,
oh shit, like.
and even on top of that, Chad Gable, the once Shorty G, is now heel.
Yeah, like, the thing is, they should have left it for like the pre-show of Chamber. The pre-show matches a lot of the time are just kind of thrown together. Give us that and have Otis turning.
Well,
That way
maybe
they
this
could have
will still be
had,
on the pre-show at Chamber, so that way there's a reason for this match to happen
but
now at Chamber.
if the turn would
But
have happened there, we could have still had a 5 to 10 minute match, and then have them turn heel, make the match
let's say
actually
the
mean
Mysterios get a
something.
clean win over
Yeah,
and have
like
Otis get mad.
we didn't need just the kind of tossed together bullshit we got on SmackDown. We could have had this match on the pre-show being like, both these teams are vying for a spot for the tag team titles, and
Yeah,
had that, and it
apparently.
would have worked so good. But it didn't. It didn't.
Well, I will again point to the fact that they didn't let Otis cash in as the tag champion. Like, WWE doesn't know what to do with Otis.
So, well,
And
do you have
he's a great
anything else to
worker.
add to SmackDown?
Eh.
Sounds good. So we're gonna move on to predictions, which our predictions are in fact for this coming Sunday's pay-per-view WWE
I didn't
Elimination
realize there was no
Chamber.
black in the logo
Yeah,
for Elimination
it's
Chamber.
white and red this year.
That's really weird.
Um, so
Oh my god, no. I just thought they're gonna paint the fucking thing red.
so Elimination Chamber this Sunday. It has not been officially confirmed yet, but obviously we're not going to predict Lacey versus Asuka because it's not going to happen.
My prediction is the match won't happen. Like,
Yeah. But we'll run through here. Let's start off with the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. The champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Who are you putting over here?
WWE's retarded and they put the titles on Bel-Air and Banks.
Yep, I agree. They're going to put them on Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair because of the help of Reginald.
I didn't even think of that. I was just thinking they were just gonna have them beat them clean.
No,
Because why not?
Reggie will help. I'm not a fan of the fact that this is going to happen, but
Why does the women's tag titles need to be with the women champion of
of
whatever?
a brand. I very much so dislike the whole tossing around. Here's my thing. I mean, we've shit on these women tag team titles a lot.
Deservedly so.
I don't hate the fact that there are women's tag team championships. Hell,
No, I was excited.
I've wanted them for years. When they finally brought them out, I was
wanted them since
so
the Bellas
ecstatic.
were a thing.
I was so ecstatic for them. I was so excited, and they've just made them a fucking afterthought and a joke.
We should have known they were when, no offense to the Iconics, but when they won at Mania.
But the thing is, there's no reason that they should have become a joke at that point, because the Iconics were a great team. Right. They had good mic skills. They were good in the ring. There was no reason
WWE
why they had
made them a joke. That's all WWE thought of them as, was a joke.
Even though they were better than most of the teams that were together.
Well, because listen to the way they talk. It's funny, haha.
Oh, jeez.
I'm confident that is the only reason Iconics became a comedy thing.
Guaranteed.
Listen, they talk different from us, haha.
Next up, triple threat match for the WWE United States Championship. The champion, Bobby Lashley, against Keith Lee and Riddle.
I'll say my finish, and then I'll kind of pick who I think is the winner. The title doesn't stay on Lashley. No matter what happens, this match, Lashley loses the title.
Okay.
But he's not pinned. The person I think that's going to win is Keith Lee. And it's going to be Riddle getting just demolished by Lashley right at the start, kind of tossed off to the side, and then a big match between Keith Lee and Lashley. And then Riddle kind of come back in, and Keith Lee just demo him and get a pin.
Yeah, so I'm going to give it to Keith Lee as well, and my prediction is very much the same. I think the match will start, Lashley will kind of toss Keith Lee out of the ring real quick. He'll lock Riddle in that hurt lock, and as he tosses him to the side to get the pin, because Riddle won't submit, Keith Lee will come in. We're going to get Keith Lee, Bobby Lashley. Keith Lee is going to, same kind of deal. Lashley will go to the outside. Riddle will come in all dazed and confused. Spirit Bomb 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I see Riddle eating the pin, which sucks. But the thing is I don't see
maybe it'll set up for a U.S. title card between Keith Lee and Riddle for Mania.
Where do we fit Lashley then for Mania, though? Because we know he's got to have some prominence.
Why not have him be the challenger for Drew's
Don't
title?
Bring my hopes up. Don't bring my hopes up, because I'm sorry, Bobby Lashley is a good wrestler. The Hurt Business is a good group.
Yeah.
I would kill to have McIntyre versus Lashley as main event of night 1, because we know Edge is going to be challenging Reigns, and we know that's the main event of night 2.
I just hope WWE pulls the carpet from under us and is like, "Ha, you thought."
They won't. Up next.
No.
Up
I'm
next.
Well aware.
Yeah, I would love for it, but they won't. Up next, the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. We've got the champion Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, and the final entrant in the match, Sheamus.
Okay.
McIntyre's the first one to come in, and McIntyre wins.
Okay. Very fair. Just curious, where you place this on your prediction? Is this where you think it'll be in the card?
Yeah, because we're closing with the Universal title.
Oh, see, I don't agree with that. It should close with the Chamber match.
But it won't.
I know, but it should close with the Chamber match.
Because they're going, you know what we're going to get? You want to know what we're getting?
We'll talk about that when we predict our Universal title match.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on.
We still have 2 more matches technically to talk about.
Okay. But yeah, no, Drew is the first one, or technically he's the last one to enter the chamber, like in order
Yes,
of
the entrances. Yeah,
entrances.
yeah, yeah.
And so he will start the match in the ring against
Jeff.
you think?
Jeff, definitely. Jeff is going to be the first elimination.
Is Jeff out before the first pod opens?
He'll be out shortly after the first pod opens. He'll make it to the first pod, but not from the pod.
I'm going to say he's out just before the first pod to give McIntyre a resting period.
I don't think they want to give McIntyre a resting period at all. I think they want to make him look like the dominant champion, similar to what Cena did when Edge cashed in on him.
Here's the thing, though, and you totally just stole my thunder for after. Thanks for that. No, the thing is they're going to try and mimic what they did for Lesnar in last year's Rumble, because they kept giving Lesnar resting periods and it still made him look ridiculously dominant, taking people out. So I bet you he takes out Hardy. I bet you he takes out Kingston, and then I bet you we get AJ Orton in. And it'll be the three of them. Really doesn't matter who goes out next. Sheamus's pod will open. He'll take out McIntyre, take out whoever's left, and then McIntyre will beat Sheamus.
It would probably be Styles left because Orton will get eliminated via something to do with Bliss.
Yeah. And so Sheamus will take out Styles, and then Drew will just out of the blue Claymore kick Sheamus and pick up the win.
Yeah.
That is my prediction.
I mean, I have a feeling that, Drew's going to win, and like you said, from the number 1 spot, or number 6 spot, however you want to classify it in the chamber.
I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up the pin on almost everybody, if not everybody.
I could see Sheamus stealing the pin on one person.
That's why I said when Sheamus comes in at the end and it's like Styles, I could see Sheamus grabbing that one and that being the only one that's not Drew, because they're just going to try and make Drew look strong.
Yeah. But I feel like this is also going to be the best version of this chamber we've had. So, we've got this new chamber. I think this is going to be the best match that's been inside of this chamber. Obviously, there's been better chambers, but
I don't think so. I think I can look back on a few of the other chambers and chamber matches with this chamber and maybe pick out some better ones.
Maybe I'm not remembering
we've
it
had
as well,
Wyatt, Cena, Styles,
yes, we've had
like
really good ones, but I feel like this one's going to be a really physical, with Styles and Hardy in it. I feel like there's going to be a bit of high flying elements.
The only reason I'm not really looking forward to it is because I feel like it's just very evident that we're getting Drew winning, being dominant. What they've been doing.
I wouldn't mind if WWE waited until the first elimination happened after every single man is in the chamber.
But like I said, if Drew is starting in the ring, that's not happening.
That's very fair.
Because they're going to make Drew look ridiculously tough.
Yeah, and the only way they could do that is have Drew come out second to last. I
don't hate that Drew's champ. I don't hate that they're trying to make him look tough. But it feels, once again, like they're pushing it too hard. I like Drew. I was happy that Drew won the Rumble. I was happy he won the title. But now it's just very much like, hey, remember how good Drew is? Remember how good Drew is? Just we're not sitting here remembering he's in 3MB. We know he's the champ. Just let it happen.
Well, and I'm amazed they're not forcing it down our throats that he's a 2-time champion.
That's surprising.
Yeah, because that's normally something they say, but they've basically been running this like it was his first run.
Yeah. And then as for the as for the next Elimination Chamber, the winner gets a Universal Championship match. After, which is kind of where my prediction is here. We have Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, King Corbin, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan. Now, before we get into our actual prediction for this, like I was saying, you know exactly what they're going to do here. is whoever wins this is going to be sitting there, and it's going to be when Edge cashed in his Money in the Bank on Cena. That's exactly the moment they're going to play, is whoever wins, they're all down and out. The chamber's lifted, and here comes Roman. Roman, being an ultimate opportunist, and picks up the win.
Yeah.
And they're going to mimic it, and it's going to be, I did that first, I did it better.
Yeah, if you heard, I actually kind of coined doing that. Like,
yeah, like it was me who did something like that well before, anybody even thought you were going to be a star, or but who do you
before you even stepped out of Dwayne's shadow.
Oh, that'd be a good line. Who do you give?
I guess he's not really out of Dwayne's shadow.
No, but who do you give the chamber match to?
I'm gonna give it to Cesaro, but the last two will be Owens and Cesaro, and then just Reigns will come in and just steamroll Cesaro.
Oh, this is hard. You know what? With the way they've been going with it, I don't know. One of the three faces of the match gets it, and the final two will be one of the faces in Jey Uso.
Okay.
I would almost give it. Oh, geez. Because the thing is, there's a way to do it each way. I don't think Bryan's going to get it, because that's going to destroy any kind of momentum they're trying to build behind Bryan completely. I don't know if they're going to give it to Owens again, because it's just going to keep making Owens look like a joke, unless Owens pulls off the win against Reigns.
But
like,
he should have
just
done that.
Overcame all the odds.
But he should have just done that at the Last Man Standing.
He should have done it well before the Last Man Standing, because it's like
if
our
we're gonna
fourth
do
fucking
that,
match.
Reigns shouldn't be Universal Champion if we're just gonna start retconning things like that. Like,
but the thing is, if Owens wins, Owens needs to beat Reigns, or else it just keeps knocking Owens more and more out of where he needs to be. So yeah, I guess kind of, give it to Cesaro. It finishes with Cesaro and Jey Uso. Cesaro picks up the win. Jey Uso attacks Cesaro afterwards. Reigns comes out, and we have the Edge Cena bit to close out the show. And I bet you, final thing, does Edge come out and declare after that match?
So. I don't think so.
You don't think he declares Sunday?
No. They'll start hinting on Monday that this Friday Edge has a special announcement.
I bet you if Reigns comes out, if it's the end of the night and Reigns comes out on top, I bet you Edge comes out and declares at Chamber that it's him and Reigns at Mania. I'll be bold.
What does the Universal title do for the next pay-per-view?
Nothing. We get Edge versus Jey Uso at Fastlane. Come on. Like, the writing is on the wall.
Yeah, but I don't want it to be. Can we get an eraser?
No, I don't think we can. Vince used permanent marker.
Where's that button? Fuck, go back! I said go back!
Oh, I don't know. You got any more predictions for it?
I'm gonna be really pissed off with WWE by the end of the night.
That's your prediction?
Yeah.
That's fair, I guess. Yeah, so I don't know. Do you have anything else to add to the show here, or?
No, like, we really try not to shit on SmackDown. We really do.
I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy absolutely every show I watch because I love pro wrestling. But when it's that fucking bad, I cannot enjoy it.
Like, I don't, yeah, it's just the booking makes zero sense at all.
Yep.
And it won't ever make any sense at all.
Nope, not one fucking bit.
Like,
So,
whoever's writing it, I don't know. And, okay, let's just kind of continue on here. If you guys do want to tweet us about what you think we're wrong on SmackDown, whatever, please do,
yeah.
because
Let us know what we're missing.
yeah, because we really want to try to enjoy wrestling, and if there's something we're just not understanding, we please explain it to us, and hopefully it'll actually make us enjoy it a bit better, as well as tweet us all the news and information you guys see, because that helps our news segments be a little more entertaining as well. So,
Yes.
that's all over at the link tree and at Walking the Ropes for Twitter as well.
Yeah, so we will be back on Monday for the Elimination Chamber recap and previewing Raw because of that recap show. But other than that, like Blake said, on our link tree you can find the links to everything, our social medias, everywhere you can listen. We've got a list. If you're watching live on Twitch, you can actually scroll down into the panels and we have a list of everywhere we're available. Our video VODs are available on YouTube shortly after we air, and all that good stuff, as well as if you want to support us even more, we have a Redbubble store, which more designs are on their way, just actually finalizing some stuff for them. As well as we have a tip page through Stream Elements, which you can donate through there as well. Any and all support, monetary or not, is greatly appreciated. Just to know that we've got people listening and hopefully enjoying. So
Yeah, absolutely. And anybody who has been listening this whole way through, or on YouTube, or on any podcast listening device, we really appreciate you guys listening in. We really enjoy doing these shows.
yes, we do. But with that being said, hopefully everybody enjoys Elimination Chamber. We definitely hope it's a good show. We never hope for it to be a bad show. We're wrestling fans. We want good stuff, but it'll be a
I'm
wait and
just being
see.
my pessimistic self.
Yeah. But enjoy Elimination Chamber, and we will be back Monday morning to discuss all the fallout from there. So with that being said, have a good weekend and take care, everybody.
We'll see you later.